I'm pleased to present another incumbent. This man has been a circuit court judge. He has served in the West Virginia State Senate. This is another gentleman who has been fighting for the principles that we believe in. He's running for state Supreme Court justice. This is such an important position because it is here that we see judicial interpretations that will affect economic development and economic growth. Are we going to have lawsuits that frivolous lawsuits that keep threatening our economy? We need more people like John Yoder to step up and run. Here's John Yoder. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. Pleasure to be here this afternoon. As Steve said, I'm John Yoder. I'm running for State Supreme Court. I'm running against the incumbent who was brought out of retirement and appointed by the governor to replace a justice who died. This race is important for three reasons. One is representation of we, the people. One is jobs. Our second is jobs. And the third is to protect your constitutional right, Second Amendment constitutional right to bear arms. Now, with respect to the first, all those, and I served with Dave Seipolt in the Senate, we all know that in West Virginia we have the same problem that we have at the federal government. Federal government and its bureaucracy is trying to pose everything on us. In West Virginia, Charleston is trying to impose everything on us from a centralized government, take our tax revenue and not represent us. What we see in the Supreme Court is that 4 of the 5 justices were born and raised in Charleston. The other was in Huntington. So the Huntington-Charleston corridor makes up 5 to 15% of the state's population, but it has 85%. The rest of the state, the other 85%, has no representation whatsoever on the Supreme Court. It's all from the Charleston, Huntington area. That's not representation of we, the people. It's the Supreme Court of West Virginia, not the Supreme Court of Charleston. That's number one reason this race is very important. Second is jobs. For 4 years in a row, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce has rated the West Virginia judicial system as the worst in the nation in terms of being the most anti-business. Now think of what that means. 4 years in a row. No business is going to want to move to this state, whether that perception is reality or not. That's the perception. It costs us jobs, and that really hurts us in a recession. Businesses aren't going to want to move here, and we've seen the exodus with people moving out, and we've seen our children and our grandchildren have to go to other states to get jobs. And this race and the Supreme Court and the judicial system is so important. And a lot of us neglect it, and we look at the congressional races and other races, which are important. But this is probably the one institution that hurts jobs and hurts our children and our tax base more than anything else in the state. The third reason is the Second Amendment right to bear arms. Now we've seen recently the President has appointed one new justice who has an anti-gun track record, and he's now nominated a second justice who just this week had memos surface where she wrote that the NRA was equivalent to the KKK. Can you imagine that? A Supreme Court justice who's equating the NRA with the KKK? So we've now had 2 new justices who have a strong track record of wanting to take away gun rights in records, in memorandums. Fortunately, well, we can't do much about President Obama appointing people to take away our right to bear arms at the federal level. We do have a state constitution, and we can vote for a justice at the state level that will at least protect our right to bear arms at the state level. Now, for anybody who wants to see a track record, I brought a memo. It's the editorial of the Charleston Gazette attacking me in 1996 for protecting the right to bear arms, and you could read it. It attacked me. It attacked my position. Actually, the United States Supreme Court upheld the position I took by a 5-4 vote. It had to do with the Brady bill and saying it was an unlawful mandate upon the state. However, with Obama's appointments at the federal level, those kind of protections we have may very well disappear. But we can still vote for a justice. We don't have to take the one that's shoved down our throats by the administration in West Virginia. And it's very important, I think, to make a choice rather than take the one that's shoved down our throats. Thank you very much.